for the first time in a long while, I actually felt something about the Nebraska men's basketball team over the course of this season. And it wasn't the usual feeling of shit, fuck, shit, fuck, shit, fuck, shit. Like it was never that. Because I knew there would be something to bounce back. And even though, this month was considerably worse than the other months, if you had told me the record at the end of this, for the month of February, I would have gladly shaked your hand on that because getting this record is, it's not something that we do. I mean, remember, it wasn't that long ago that we had to put up 3 straight wins to get to 10 wins on the season. We were having records that even Rutgers couldn't dream of. All right, we were that bad. But here we are. So, where do we left off? We left off with a very, very frustrating loss at Michigan in which we had a bunch of injuries, a bunch of sick, and a bunch of just casual interference from the Big Ten. Just literally doing anything it can to stop Nebraska from going 21-0 and leading this conference in literally everything. And it worked. Barely. Fucking barely worked. But we were looking for revenge in our home rematch against the Illini. We were able to beat them in December. I really do feel like the December matches should be, the games in which you play teams twice and not having Wisconsin. And yeah, thank you, Big Ten, for putting Wisconsin on the schedule in their banter era because I am scared of them. But we don't have to talk about that. But we get to play Illinois at home, a revenge match. Shit, and yeah, it did not go well. This was by far the worst basketball performance I have ever seen from the team. Just ever. It is stupid. It is absolutely stupid. We couldn't out physicality them, and they just had bigger players. And that's what it came down to. We don't have physicality. We can't really draw that from really anybody because Rank Mass is afraid to jump, and literally everybody else is short or just not that, physically demanding or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, what would you call it? That sucked. And, yeah. And so after that result, I'm like, okay, this is definitely not how I wanted it to go, but hey, shit happens. Still, top of the Big Ten, but now we got some games off, which is kind of annoying. But let everyone rest up, and now we head to Rutgers. Yep, Rutgers. They, at that point of the season, had 9 wins total. Yeah, it was somewhat easy victory. Rank Mass figured out how to shoot the ball again. What else is there of note? 15 turnovers by Rutgers. We got out rebounded by Rutgers. Again, physicality. But that was our warm-up match for a midweek match between us and Purdue. Yes, it seems like every big game for us is fucking midweek. Thank you. Thank you, guys. But, yeah. Okay. I guess we'll check in at halftime just to see what's going on. Oh, good gracious, we're losing by 16. We are getting fucking dominated. Hello, guys? Are you gonna wake up? No? Okay, all right. We're now halfway through. We just had a big run, but we're still down a good amount. Purdue are gonna wake up. There they go. They woke up 14. Oh no, rank mass layup. We have the free throw to take the fucking lead, and of course he misses it. Cause God help, and because of that, we lose in overtime. We were so close in fucking overtime, dude. We had the lead with a minute 30, and then we just fell apart in the end. I don't. The crowd was even getting into it for free throws. Just couldn't make a damn shot at the end. Yeah. All right. Well, we lost our second home game. And as of now, it would be the last ranked match that we would have for the rest of the season. Of course, it doesn't mean that we are going to win all of them. But up next, we have a very, very terrible Northwestern side. Just back to having the easy schedule. And, yep, that's about what I expected. The offense outside of Samfort and Hoiberg was basically non-existent. Our third best scorer was Jacobson. That's what you would call a little worrying, but it doesn't matter because despite the fact that we were down pretty early into the second half, and then somewhat halfway through, Northwestern just ran out of gas. They only scored like 8 points in the final 10 minutes. And 2 of those were in the final seconds. So, yeah, not great. But now we have our big rivalry. The team that we should be trying to beat, but we always seem to fail somehow. And it is Iowa. At Iowa. And it is to the point where I remember, oh yeah, we only scored 68 points against Northwestern. And Iowa has the best defense in the Big Ten. Oh. Fuck. Yeah, I figured we'd lose this. Just the fact that we haven't been playing well, and everyone just decided to also forget how to shoot the ball and didn't even bother putting in Garcia all game. We just let the game absolutely slip away. That end of the first half and into the early second half, it looked like Iowa was gonna pull away. Then we came back, which was funny. Took the lead a couple of times, but then we just couldn't do anything. We couldn't make shots. Couldn't get ourselves back in the game. Just kept giving up free throws, and they kept making it. I'm sorry, I drank some shit today. And, yeah, that was it. Nebraska loses to Iowa. Surely Iowa wouldn't lose, wouldn't win only one game of their next 4, right? Anyway. So, we lose to an unranked team. That's kind of terrible. Iowa, I do believe at that time, probably was at least close to breaking into the rankings, but we now have a very easy 2-game stretch at home against Penn State and Maryland. Again, everyone else in the Big Ten and, big matchups. And we have at home against Penn State. While this game was going on, I was on a little adventure. Trying to clean up some stuff at Grandma's house. We were tearing off wallpaper. That was apparently the most fun thing that Mother ever had in a while. I never thought she'd be good at. She would love labor, but hey, she's a computer person like I am. And but at the end, we visited a relative of ours, and he looked very alive at the nursing home that he was at. And then, what was it? 6 days ago? Yeah, 6 days ago he died. He died. And that's pretty sad to see him, only a week and a half ago, he was looking live and well. Watching Penn State get raw dogged by Nebraska and Price Sanford. 8 threes for Price Sanford. It's a little sad. But you know what? I feel like his corpse was still more alive. Even up to his cremation, he was more alive than what Penn State basketball is. Alright? At Penn State, I know you won. Again, you surely wouldn't beat Iowa next week, right? What do you mean you beat Iowa? Okay. I just trying to make an anecdote. That is how dead Penn State was. Even at our worst, they still couldn't do anything. Oh yeah, Butin Joe was out for this game. I was like, oh, we're finally starting Frager. Okay, we're getting some new change, and then Butin Joe just didn't play because he was sick or something. I don't know. I love being sick, am I right? And yeah, so we win it by 23. That's cool, I guess. Woohoo! Yay! I don't really know, but our next game is against a equally as lifeless Maryland team who would go on to lose the rest of their games. And what do you know? This was a part of it. The funny thing is that they did just beat Washington before this, and they also have a win against Iowa. Does Iowa just suck against everybody? Man, we should have been trash. Okay, all right. That's noted, I guess. Iowa, really? But it's a 13-point win. It's not really convincing. We had to have a masterful bailout performance by Frager, 21 points off the bench. You love to see it. You just would like Sanford to not miss 8 threes, but hey, whatever. He made free throws. So that's cool. That was 2 straight games in which we were favored by 17. But now we go on the toughest road trip in all of the Big Ten land. A road trip to California to face both USC and UCLA. Now, up to that point, no team was able to sweep in the West Coast, except for Michigan, but they had to face the Washington-Oregon trio, and I'm just going to be honest with you, neither of them are particularly good, so yeah, when they have a combined 12 conference wins, and that's not even good enough to surpass UCLA, yeah, but we were going to be facing up against a USC team that, I mean, they were ranked a lot lower in the Big Ten, but that's just because they had a pretty massive collapse, and it definitely included this game, that's for sure. One of their better players just straight up quit. He was just gone. Right after our game because he got injured or something. He was still tied for the highest score. Arenas or whatever was injured, and I just saw a graph in which they were missing most of their roster due to injury for most of the season. So they've had a rough time in SoCal, but despite all that, they still had a fucking lead in the first half, and we were underachieving horrifically, but then Sanford casually broke out a 5 of 10 from 3, 12 for 21 overall performance. 38 minutes. This is why we keep him out there, I guess. It got so bad that apparently we decided to put in the Bolus, Curtis, Kendall Blue era. And they all did close to the same as Jacobson, apparently. But yeah, Mast still not shooting the greatest. But now we have to face UCLA. Now, in terms of record, funnily enough, these two teams are roughly the same. But in terms of the actual Big Ten, UCLA was definitely much better than what people would have thought. Heading into this, they really desperately needed a win after going to Minnesota and fucking losing. Pretty terrible, to be honest. Like, really terrible. Also, I want to point out something. USC didn't leave the West Coast from February 18 onwards. They played 6 games and lost all of them. Anyway, so that puts into perspective how terrible they are. You know what else does? What else puts them really terrible? This dog shit performance. Oh boy. So at least the other losses were within, like 10 points at the bare minimum. Like, 5 to Iowa, 3 in overtime to Purdue, and then, 9 to Illinois. And then we just lose by 20 to UCLA. And I thought we gave him something for that one set in volleyball. Yeah. Everyone just forgot how to shoot the basketball. It was a terrible performance. We just need to not score, 52. Like, these are our only games in which we are getting fucking annihilated on the offensive board, and it just never seemed that they wanted to, shoot. It just felt like, they wanted to just turn the ball over immediately. This is with UCLA getting fouled a bunch as well. Like, we just couldn't score. We just couldn't score on any of our opportunities, especially free throws. 50% free throw shooting. And that was only 10% worse than UCLA because they went 6 of 10. Like, I mean, it wouldn't have helped win, of course, but I don't. Free throws, man. Yeah, that start was horrendous. It was about as horrendous as the other losses. This time we just couldn't recover, and so no team went to California and won both. Not even Purdue, because they also lost to UCLA. And that, my friends, that result and Purdue losing to UCLA would come to bite us in the ass once again. Because in the next game, the day before, Purdue loses to Wisconsin, setting up Nebraska with an automatic triple bye. Nice. That's pretty good, am I right? Like, we don't even have to play when we get a triple bye, but we were still fighting for a 2, 3, or 4 spot. And then by the end of it, we can only get a 2 or a 4. And that was very crucial because we were playing at home against Iowa. And we had to win in order to get a 2 seed. And while we had a 10-point lead with about, 4 minutes remaining, we blew it. We blew it, and it sent it into overtime thanks to a 3-pointer from good old Cale Combs. But then the absolute funny happened. Cale Jacobson made a 3, and we went up 5 in overtime. But then they came back with 5 of their own. But then, to put it in their own hearts, to send Iowa, banish them to, well, they were already 9th place anyway, but banish them to 500, Cale Jacobson makes a second 3. He did not miss all night. He went 6 for 6. His only miss was a free throw, and he was playing 30 minutes. May I remind you guys, this guy does not normally play 30 minutes. He played 30 minutes once against South Carolina Upstate. The most they had in an actual, legitimate game was 28 minutes against Michigan, where I don't know how to break it to you, but this motherfucker was starting that game. And he only had 8 points in a game he had, significantly more time in. And you gave up 15 to him. 15. This was with, Sanford, Mass just being kind of there. You lost to us. Ha! Take that, you fucking bastard. You're corn as shit. Won the game that matters. To be honest, even if we swept you, it wouldn't have mattered. Because we would have still ended up second. Because, dear God, Michigan had won it by, this game. They had already won the Big Ten. Or at least they clinched a share here and then won it by this game. They're fucking dominant. And yet in our game, we were still closer. If only Wisconsin could play against, everyone else like they did against Michigan. But this ended us with a 26-5 record. I feel like it would have torn your arm off and beat you over the head repeatedly if you told me that we'd end the season with, end the regular season with a 26-5 record. Like, okay, maybe I can understand going undefeated in non-con. I mean, if you told me that Creighton's final record would be, in the regular season would be a 15-16, I would have been like, okay, I guess they suck. Other than that, there was really nobody on the non-con schedule except Oklahoma, who are currently 11th in the SEC, and then K-State, who are currently 15th. I may remind you that 15th is second to last in the Big 12. Yeah, there was no one else on the schedule, so maybe I could understand that, but 20-0 to start? 26-5? Yeah, I don't... Okay, but let's see. I mean, okay, so we get the second seed, so that's pretty favorable. It's not as favorable as the 1 seed, but, sometimes you just can't win them all. But, okay, but let's just see. Who the fuck is the 7 seed? Who the fuck is the 10? And who the fuck is in the first round? Shit. So, the first round in our, little graphic is Penn State versus Northwestern, both of whom we respectively dominated on a 3-game stretch, included an Iowa loss. So okay, fine, we take those. We actually have 2 wins over Northwestern. I forgot about the first one. Okay, so that's cool. That's cool, I guess. Second round is Indiana, a team that we did beat, but I don't know how proud I am of it, especially when we went down horrifically in the first half. But then the third round, the round before ours in the quarters, is Purdue. Thanks to Purdue's loss to UCLA and our loss to UCLA, instead of going up against the UCLA that beat us by 20, we're going up against the Purdue that allowed us to come back from down 20-something. I don't know. I would have rather had UCLA than Purdue, just simply because we'd at least have revenge on our mind, and, we wouldn't have had to go all the way to fucking California to play. We just got to go to Chicago? I think that's where they're playing. But instead we get Purdue. The 4 seed isn't much better. I mean, we face a red-hot Wisconsin and then some other shit that I don't remember. But whatever. It's a 2 seed. It's I think it's a new record in the Big Ten for us because we had a 3 seed last time. Yeah, 3 seed last time out. So yeah, back into the Big Ten tournament. Going from missing it to the number 2 is a pretty daggum good turnaround. The funny thing is that it's only the win total difference as of now is only 5. That's just because we went on a massive tear in the CBC to add 4 wins. So yeah. 26-5 heading into the Big Ten tournament. Start out on Friday afternoon. Just hopefully, Purdue isn't, all that. I mean, I know Purdue fans are basically, mauling at the fact that they have to face fucking Indiana in the third round potentially, but I don't know, man. I think Indiana lost at least one of them. One of the teams below them, right? Yeah, they lost to Northwestern. Where's Penn State? Oh, they beat it. Oh! Indiana beat them 113-72. I'd say that's a result. This is certainly a result. Yeah, I did. It's just rough that as a 2 seed we're gonna have to go up against fucking Purdue. It happens though. Currently ranked this morning at number 11, going from 9 to 11, which is fine. I mean, if you lose 20 points to an unranked team, you kind of deserve a drop a little. But we got the win in the last game, so it softened it a little. It would have been nice to not have choked a 10-point lead, but to be honest, if the choke didn't necessarily result in a loss, that's fine. So yeah. So while February and March weren't the greatest months, I again would have shaked your hand for a 6-4. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6-4 result. I would have shaked your hand for that in February and March. Like, yep, thank you. I will take that gladly. Add that to the 9 before, and that's 15. And new Big Ten record for Nebraska. So it's good. Congrats to Michigan for setting the 19-win barrier, because there wasn't really a 20-game schedule until the past couple seasons. So yeah, good job. You got to 19-1. It would have been funny if it would have been real funny if we didn't lose that game and we had to actually fight against you. But whatever, it happens. Second place is pretty good. Yeah, I think I'll do it. Friday, we'll be doing a little bit of that on Friday. Not really gonna post anything about wins unless we get. I would do a video if we win our first two or whenever we lose in the quarters or semis, and then the final would be its own. But I doubt we make it to the final. I feel like a lot of these teams are going to be gunning for revenge against us. I know we were going to be gunning for revenge against Purdue, but the other teams, like Michigan State and all. Michigan State, Iowa, no, Michigan State, well, of course, Iowa and Illinois would definitely be gunning for revenge. Yeah. Just, if the cards fall right. Of course, the big thing, when we make it to the NCAA tournament, is just win the first game, so we don't have to have that stupid record hold above us, like we are a mere peasant from the Missouri Valley Conference. All right, just please, let's just get this over with, and yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys later this week. See ya.